How Manchester United should use Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in midfield, a tactical analysis. Before this video starts, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get notified when my videos are released. I will be releasing a series of videos looking at players that each of the top 6 sides should sign in the summer transfer window. I will do a video on each side, starting with Manchester United, then going on to the other top 6 sides, as well as doing Real Madrid, Barcelona and Juventus. So remember to hit the subscribe button so you have something to watch while you're laying in bed waiting to die from this virus. Also check out some of my previous videos, including my tactical analysis of Manchester United's 2-0 win over Manchester City, looking at how Solskjaer's pentagon pressing shape beat Guardiola again. That video currently has 250,000 views, so let's try and get it to the 300,000 view mark. That video, as well as some of my others, will be linked in the description below. So with reports suggesting that Paul Pogba may be prepared to stay at Manchester United beyond this summer and even sign a new contract, what would be the best way for Solskjaer to set up his midfield with Pogba alongside the new signing Bruno Fernandes in the same side? Well, first let's look at the type of players both Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes are. Paul Pogba's best attributes are his dribbling in central zones, long passing, vision and short passing interplay in the channels. This sort of skill set enables him to play a number of different roles in the side, from a deep line playmaker in a midfield double pivot as he does for France, to a box-to-box midfielder as he was used under Mourinho and at the start of Solskjaer's reign. Whilst at Juventus, he played mostly as a Mezzala type in a 4-4-2 diamond or a 5-4-1 with a diamond midfield, playing on the left in both systems. A Mezzala is a central midfielder who will look to move into the wide positions in the channels, looking to link with the left-sided fullback and the forward on that side. I think his best role on the side is playing as a box-to-box midfielder ahead of the two-man double pivot. From this position he has less defensive responsibilities than he would have further back in that double pivot, which suits him better as his positional play is one of his weakest attributes, which is a crucial skill for a central midfielder to have when playing in a two-man midfield. In this position he can play slightly ahead of Fred and McTominay, picking up the opposition's deep line central midfielder when out of possession. This will mean that when United win the ball back, Pogba can act as a transition player, where United feed the ball into him as he can use his powerful dribbling ability to move the ball up the pitch, launching the counter-attack. This is a unique asset for a central midfielder to have, and is something that Yaya Toure was so good at for Manchester City for so many years. From this position he can be given a free role, able to drop deep to help create using his vision and passing ability when the opposition are sitting back in a deep defensive block, or he can look to make runs ahead of the forward line into goal scoring positions. In this sense, Pogba's role would look a lot like Frank Lampard's role in Mourinho's 4-3-3 shape that was so effective from 2004 to 2006. Bruno Fernandes, on the other hand, is a slightly different type of player to Pogba, even though he does have a similar skill set. Fernandes has the same short passing into play ability and movement ahead of the forward line as Pogba does, whilst probably being a better finisher around the box. He doesn't have the same long passing ability, vision or dribbling ability from central zones as Pogba, which means Fernandes isn't suited to playing a deeper role like Pogba and should be played in a more advanced position like Frank Lampard was in Mourinho's 2005 Chelsea side. This is where there is an overlap between Fernandes and Pogba, as both can play in this advanced central midfield role. So what sort of system could accommodate both Pogba and Fernandes and not only get the best out of them, but get the best out of this United team as a whole? Solskjaer could look to stick with his preferred 4-2-3-1 shape, using Pogba in the deep double pivot alongside McTominay or Fred, playing the role of a deep line playmaker, allowing Fernandes to play ahead of him as an advanced midfielder, in behind the centre forward Anthony Martial. This system would give United creativity from deep areas, as they are currently lacking without Pogba, and unlike McTominay and Fred, Pogba has the ability to play incisive passes forward, which will allow United to move the ball into the likes of Fernandes between the lines of the opposition's midfield and their defence. Pogba's presence in United's deeper midfield unit in their possession shape will allow Fernandes to retain a higher position in the three behind Martial, where he is most effective. Fernandes, whilst lacking the same long passing ability as Pogba, is brilliant when it comes to linking with players in and around the box, and this could work well with Rashford and Martial on that left side of the attack. Luke Shaw could be upgraded with a better attacking left back. With Rashford moving inside into central zones, this would work perfectly with a fullback who could motor down the left channel and act almost as a left winger in possession. Brandon Williams certainly has his ability in spurts, but if United could sign a player like Teo Hernandez, Rafael Guerreiro or Alphonso Davies, who would bring a different dimension to the United attack, giving them direct pace to make runs beyond Rashford and Fernandes. Alternatively, in a 4-4-2 diamond shape, Pogba could be given more of an advanced role, similar to how he was deployed at Juventus. Pogba could be used on the left side of the diamond as a Mezzala, moving into the left channel to link with the left-sided forward, likely Marcus Rashford, and the left back, Williams or Shaw. We've seen Pogba looking most effective playing from the left side, with McTominay on the right side and Fred playing as a deep single pivot. Pogba would have the defensive security behind him in midfield to allow him to push further forward and play as an attacking midfielder. In this system we could see both Fernandes and Pogba playing as advanced midfielders in possession, which would work well against teams who look to engage United higher up the pitch, as this would mean that the opposition's midfield would be further up the field, leaving space in behind them for Pogba and Fernandes to move into. Problems could arise in big games when Solskjaer looks to use a counter-attacking style, allowing the opposition to dominate possession. This is because Solskjaer's preferred system in these sorts of games is a 5-2-1-2 shape, with the two wide forwards, most recently being Daniel James and Anthony Martial, an advanced midfielder behind them, playing the role of a second striker, which was the role Bruno Fernandes was deployed in versus Manchester City, and a double pivot consisting of two industrious central midfielders, McTominay and Fred. Pogba's best role in the side would be behind the front two, where Fernandes has been used, which creates a problem. He could play in the midfield too, though Fred and McTominay are both better ball winners, which is crucial to the system and something that Solskjaer may not be willing to give up for Pogba's creativity. This is the reason why I would say that United need to look to develop Pogba as a deep line playmaker who can play a deeper midfield role like a Luka Modric or Toni Kroos. Or they should look to bring in someone who can do this and would be an upgrade on Fred and McTominay in terms of their on the ball ability. Obviously, Pogba's defensive ability would have to improve, most notably his positioning, which is needed to cut off passing lanes into the opposition's advanced players, sitting between the lines. However, these defensive positional skills can be developed by more offensive players, and we've seen players like Bastian Schweinsteiger, Thiago Alcantara and Luka Modric pick up these skills, enabling them to play in those deeper midfield positions as their careers progressed. Pogba has the control under pressure, long passing ability and vision to be a fantastic deep line playmaker if he can add the out of possession attributes to his game. As for Fernandes, I do think he has to be played in an advanced midfield role, preferably as a second striker, where he's been given the freedom to move between the lines from side to side and make runs ahead of the centre forward into goal scoring positions. Whilst he is a great creator of chances around the box, I don't think he has the long passing ability to be a top class deep line playmaker as Pogba does. Instead, he could be a top class advanced midfielder in the mould of a Thomas Müller or Antoine Griezmann, who play just behind the main striker. So with both Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba being United's two most creative players, it is important that Solskjaer builds a system around both of their strengths. I would suggest using a 4-4-2 diamond and a 4-2-3-1 system interchangeably against sides like Burnley, Wolves or Newcastle who reduce the space between the lines by sitting in a deep defensive block. A 4-2-3-1 would be the go-to system, as it would allow Pogba to play as a deep line playmaker, which is crucial for breaking down deep defensive structures as he has the long passing ability and vision to create from deep. This would also allow Bruno Fernandes to move between the midfield and attacking lines and make third man runs into goal scoring positions, which will give United a greater variety of off the ball movement rather than relying on runs in behind the back line from James, Rashford and Martial. However, a 4-4-2 diamond would be the better system to use against sides like Leicester, Arsenal or Southampton, who look to engage United higher up the pitch, leaving space in behind the midfield. With a deeper midfielder behind him and a right-sided central midfielder on the opposite side to him, Pogba could push further forward into the half spaces, playing as a Mezzala, allowing United to play both with Fernandes and Pogba in advanced midfield positions, and this means that if they can bypass the opposition's press, both of these players can thrive in these sorts of roles. So over the next few weeks I will be releasing a series of videos looking at players Manchester United should sign. For example, if I feel United need to bring in a left back, central midfielder and striker, I will dedicate individual videos to these positions, looking at who I think is the right player to bring in. I will also be doing this for Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea and Tottenham, and potentially Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus as well. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on any of those videos. Also remember to check out my tactical analysis of how Solskjaer beat Guardiola again, with United's 2-0 win over City at Old Trafford. That video will be linked in the description below.